restless. I am so restless. And this changing world leaves me speechless. I am lost for words, but I kept my nerve.
Hi, I'm Stevie Boebi, and you guys have been begging me to tell you how lesbians have sex, so today I'm gonna teach you how to fuck.
Welcome to the Fallen State. I'm Jesse Lee Peterson. Today I'm talking with a very popular YouTuber. Her name is Stevie Boebi, creator and host of the first ever lesbian sex ed video series. That's a very interesting job. Stevie Boebi, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
I appreciate you being here. And so, are you a lesbian?
I am a lesbian.
You are a lesbian. Mm-hmm. And how did you become a lesbian?
I think it's not something you become, it's something you realize. So I guess I've always been one.
What made you realize I'm a lesbian?
Are we gonna get dirty? Because I can tell you the real story, or I can give you like a...
I want to know the real story.
Okay, so I fell in love with a girl.
At what age?
I was 19, and it was in my philosophy class in college, and I thought she was a boy. And then she told me she was a girl, and I already had a crush on her, and I was like, but I'm not a lesbian. But then it like just really messed with me. And then she was a lesbian, and then I was like, I hate my own vagina. I'm not gonna like somebody else's vagina. And then I tasted and came out the next day.
Amazing. And so, and this happened at the age of 19.
Yeah.
And prior, from 1 to 19, there was nothing about you that caused you to think you were a lesbian or interested in women.
No, I was from a very religious town, and I was very religious, and then what I was taught was that gay is a sin, and that's what bad people do, and I'm a good person, so
Right.
that I never even imagined that as a possibility.
And this person that you fell in love with, when you were looking at this person, you thought it was a boy, so you thought you were falling in love with a boy.
Well, we kind of like passed notes back and forth in class and like made fun of our philosophy professor together. So I didn't have a lot of like one-on-one looking at her. Uh-huh. So yeah, she was always like sitting behind me in class. So.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And so you went home that day and said, hey dad, hey mom, I'm a lesbian?
I'm an orphan, so it didn't really happen like that. I just kind of came out to my roommates and friends, and yeah, I didn't come out to my grandma until years later.
Had you dealt with boys prior to that?
I had dated boys. I think I had a boyfriend, or maybe it was like phasing out when I fell in love with her. I think it was like the end, the breakup time or whatever.
And so had you had sex with any boy prior to the lesbian experience?
Mm-hmm.
You had?
Yep.
That's amazing. And so are you a Christian?
No.
Were you a Christian at one time? Oh yeah,
Yes.
I read that you're an atheist.
Yes.
So you were a Christian. Why were you a Christian at one point?
I don't know. I think that's just what everyone was. And so I just was. Like there wasn't any other options really where I was from. Like you were either a Christian or like, no, that's the only option.
And so you were a Christian up until 19 or so. And you're walking down the road and you decided, hey, I don't want to be a Christian anymore. What made you change?
Well, one of the first things was that, so my father committed suicide, and
Your natural father?
yes,
Really?
and my preacher told me that there's no way he was in heaven, and I was like, how the hell do you know that?
That's right.
You know?
Yeah.
And so then I was just like, what? This doesn't make any sense. So then, what else? Oh, I guess becoming gay and feeling like my identity was being attacked. But then I just kind of like all-knowing, all-powerful just didn't make any logical sense to me. Yeah, and then I found like atheist YouTubers and started watching atheist videos, and yeah, now I'm an atheist.
How old were you when your father committed suicide?
10.
10. And so you remember living with him and this taking place? And were you with your mother too?
Yes.
And what happened to your mother?
I don't really know. I got put into foster care when I was 15. She has a lot of issues with drugs. So did he. And we kind of I've never really had a relationship with her. after 15.
That's amazing.
And she's been missing, like a missing person, for like 10 months. I feel like this is a therapy session now. Yeah, she's been missing for like 10 months. Nobody knows where she is.
Do you miss her? You think of her at times?
A little, I guess. Like when you've been through trauma with your caretaker, if you don't think about it, if someone says that it doesn't affect them, they don't think about it, they're just either repressing it or lying. But I feel like I'm pretty well adjusted. So.
And so, were you close to your father at the time that he committed suicide? Were you close to him?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry to hear that about your father. That's terrible.
It happens.
And then this preacher tell you that he won't ever go to heaven. That's awful.
Yeah. Especially for like
Because
a 13-year-old.
no one knows that.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why would you? Yeah, that's just so weird.
And so you are an atheist, agnostic.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't believe there is a God at all.
I mean, so yeah, atheism is the belief, and then agnosticism is the knowing, right? So I don't know, agnostic. So I have no idea. There's been no proof. I don't see proof.
But the
gods that I have seen don't make any logical sense. Atheist is what I believe to be true, which is there is no God.
But in your mind, the possibility is there that could be a God.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I read that you have almost 600,000 YouTube subscribers.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah.
And why is that? What is it about you that so many people are interested in you?
I don't know. I think that in a lot of places, it's. I think that being queer is a thing. Lots of marginalized groups are discriminated against and oppressed all over the world, right? But as far as being queer is concerned, it's not really a genetic thing. Like you're not like born to gay parents and then you're gay and then like you can talk to your auntie about it. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like a really isolating group to be in. So there's a lot of fear of coming out. Like, will they accept me? You know, I'm different. So the fact that I am out and am living a life that is true to myself, I think that a lot of young people need to see examples of that. You guys kept commenting that I had my front door open last time I was making a video, which didn't seem weird to me, but now my family's here listening to this being filmed, so today we're going to talk about strap-ons, specifically how to choose a dildo, how to put on a strap-on harness, and how to and get by strap-on.
That's amazing. What does it feel like to be a lesbian?
What does it feel like?
Yeah, what is that? What, exactly. How do you know that you're a lesbian?
Because I love and am attracted to women.
Sexually?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So if it wasn't for the sex thing, you wouldn't be a lesbian?
That's not true, because I mean, there's lots of different orientations, right? So there's romantic orientation, there's sexual orientation. I can have crushes on guys, but I'm not attracted to them, so I can't.
You're not,
I'm not like
sexually
drawn.
attracted.
It's sexual, but also just in any way. Like I don't know. Yeah, I guess maybe it is sexual attraction. Like if I look at a guy, I'm not like, you know?
Yeah. But if you look at a woman, you're like,
Sometimes, yeah.
And so if that desire for sex didn't come up, then you wouldn't be a lesbian.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know, because you can be asexual and still be a lesbian. You can also still have sex with people you're not attracted to, and if you couldn't, then there'd be way fewer babies in the world. So I don't know. I think that it's a really intricate process, and I think that every lesbian is going to have a different answer to why they feel like a lesbian. But yeah, mine is that I desire and have interest in having relationships, sexual or romantic or otherwise, with women.
And now, a word from our sponsor.
I am so excited. I can't believe it. Finally, the Fall Estate merchandise is here. Look at this beautiful shirt. We have red, white, and black. Comfortable, I like the fit. Really nice t-shirts. And we have mugs. The Fall Estate mug. On the back it says, "Did you have fun?" Did you have fun? A gift. Excellent gifts, both. This is a great way for you to help us. Can you imagine your friends seeing you with this at the office, at the park, in your home? You're going to love it. Order them now. Go to thefallenstate.tv. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So you say you're also a feminist lesbian.
I guess.
Why pile on?
What?
Why pile on? It's enough problem being a lesbian. Why would you want to be a feminist too?
I don't really see like a fear of having identities as a problem. Like I don't know. I kind of just try to like be true to myself and then deal with the problem afterwards if it comes. I don't really like, well, is this going to be a problem? Well, maybe I shouldn't say I'm a feminist, you know?
Do you have perfect peace or do you have conflict within?
I don't know. I think that I'm in so much therapy, so we'll see.
So you're in a lot of therapy right now?
Yeah.
And for what?
I mean, I think everyone should be in therapy, but me specifically, I think that I've had a very traumatic life from a very early age, and so I think that it's important that I make sure that I do the work to make sure that that trauma doesn't come out in negative ways and I'm able to live my life with peace. And
why not just forgive the traumatizers and be over with it? Because if
oh
you
man, if it
forgave
was
them,
that easy.
it is that easy.
No, it's not.
It's hard to forgive?
No. I've definitely forgiven.
Then
It's not that doesn't mean that everything's fixed just because you forgive people.
Why did you forgive them?
Because I don't know, I guess for selfish reasons.
What was that?
Because if I'm holding on to anger and resentment, that is so toxic to me. So why am I holding on to that? That's so silly. They're not gaining or losing anything from me being angry at them.
But
you know?
if you have truly forgiven, you wouldn't have the conflict anymore.
No, I know. What? That's not how it works.
Yeah, for real.
You think that if a rape survivor forgives the rapist, she will no longer have PTSD?
100%.
That really?
Yeah, 100%, without a doubt, and it would be as though it never happened to you.
That's not how mental health works, though.
Because mental health is mental.
Yeah.
You can't pay attention to mental health.
Yeah, but once you develop a trauma or a like mental health disorder, your entire brain chemistry and like physically changes. Your brain physically changes.
And you
so
know
you
why
can't
that
just say
is?
out loud, I forgive you, and then your brain magically goes back to how it was before.
The reason for that is because when you're traumatized, like what I've read you've gone through, and we'll get to some of that in a minute, the fact that you were angry at the people who traumatized you, it separated you from the source of life. And so being separated, it brings on other mental problems, emotional problems, and things like that.
I kind of like my anger, though.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, it's like a driving force in my life. That's why I make sex ed videos, is because I feel like I don't know why no one is doing it. I'm just so mad that like that queer girls are being robbed of information when they deserve it, because we think that straight kids deserve it. Why don't we think that queer girls do?
If you knew that forgiveness was the key, true forgiveness, would you do it so that you could be free?
Sure.
And then you wouldn't need therapy anymore. You could use that money for something else.
I think that is a dangerous claim because it's not true and it's demonizing people for needing or wanting mental health help.
No.
Because it's not that easy.
It is true. I mean, I've been helping people
you
overcome.
can believe that, but...
No. It's not just a belief, it's reality. When you truly forgive, have you ever done something that you wish you had not done it to offend someone or traumatize someone, and you say, wow, I can't believe I did that. I don't want to do that. And you end up doing it again?
I rarely regret my decisions.
But you have done that.
I guess.
It's
I don't really feel regret because it's just, life is a series of obstacles to overcome, and you can try different tactics to overcome those obstacles and then see which ones work and which ones don't. And there's no sense in dwelling on something you did wrong. You can just change it in the future.
If you are a person that has an STI, you don't have to stop having sex, but you do have to be honest with your partners. And even if you don't have an STI, you need to protect yourself and respect yourself.
Protect just my vagina, or do I need it for butt stuff too?
Butt stuff too. But before you leave me to go test out 100 sex positions with your new lesbian sex partner, first, let's talk about foreplay.
So you became a lesbian at 19. Do you think you were born that way, or having sex with another woman caused you to become that way?
Yeah, definitely not caused me to become that way.
Or do you think you were born that way?
Yes.
Then why did you know it before 19?
Because I was very sexually repressed and also a very late bloomer. So I didn't even kiss anyone until I was like 17.
A few years ago, you did an interesting video on your identity. Mm-hmm. And you said you fall between 5 and a 6 in the Kinsey scale, on the Kinsey scale. Mm-hmm. What is the Kinsey scale?
Kinsey was a doctor who did one of the biggest, I think like sex research, like for the first time. And so he basically rates gayness on a scale from 1 to 6, which is a very flawed system because sexuality and orientations and romantic orientations and all of that isn't really linear. It's kind of more of like a constellation, and your gender and your identity and who you're attracted to and what you're attracted to and what kind of sex you like and what kind of person you want, all just really is this constellation. So it's kind of flawed. That's why I'm saying I'm between a 5 and a 6 doesn't make any sense, you know?
And so I understand the feeling that you have for the same sex, for sexual stuff. I understand that. But when you're doing it, or when you stand back and look at it, seeing 2 women or 2 men attracted to each other sexually, is there any part of you that says, you know what, I know I'm doing this, but it's not quite right. It's something wrong with this.
No.
You know, it doesn't make sense that women of the same sex or men of the same sex will have sex. Is there something ever kicks in to say, you know what, maybe it's not what I think?
No. I felt like that way when I was dating boys, way more.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And just, I don't know, being with women just feels so right and true and just feels good.
What can I do? I'm a meaningless statistic. There could just be a way I could help the fallen state. I'm not crazy. That's never gonna happen. I'm not living in a dream world.
Well, what's the matter with you?
Jesse? Jesse Lee Peterson? You're my favorite YouTuber, and I wish there was a way for me as the viewer to support you.
You can help us, and you can too. Whatever amount you can afford, even $1, we appreciate it. Go to patreon.com/thefallenstate.
That's amazing.
How do you feel about men? Do you resent men?
Not at all.
What's your impression of men?
Depends on the man. I mean, I don't know. Men is just such a large group of people that, I don't know.
So what is your impression of man?
Of which one?
The ones you know. How do you see men?
I don't know. In a sexual way?
What is a man?
What is a man? Man is an identity that someone can identify as.
Man is an identity that someone can identify as? What does that mean?
I don't know. I don't know how to define man other than that, really.
Did you know before now that you really didn't know what a man was?
Well, I'm not a man. How am I supposed to know what it is or what it feels like?
What is a woman?
Same thing.
What?
Woman is an identity you can identify as.
So did you know before today you didn't know what a woman was either?
I guess I didn't.
So did you know that prior to now that you did not know what a woman was?
Oh, God. I don't know. I guess I could sit and think about a definition. I don't know, because it's difficult because you want to be inclusive of trans people and non-binary people. So I can't just be like, being a woman is these primary sex characteristics or secondary sex characteristics or your chromosomes or whatever. I think it's a mix of all of those things, and it's also a mix of who you feel or what you feel like you are. So being a woman and being a man and being neither or both is different. It's such a different experience for everyone. And I am so cisgender. I've always felt like I am a woman and I want to be more womanly and like all of these things. So it's hard for me to imagine what it would feel like to not be a woman. So I'm just like, I mean, it just feels this way. I have no idea.
It's hard for you to say what a woman is because you don't want to offend the people who are confused about their sexual identity.
It's not that I don't want to offend them. It's that I want to include them because they
Why?
are a part. They're a part of the conversation about. Did you just say trans people are messed up?
Yeah, they're like abnormal. You know, like they've been traumatized. Why would you not identify what a real woman is, because people who are confused about who they are might be offended when you might be able to help them by really identifying what a woman is and what a man is, and they may think about it and overcome their traumas.
Did you just say real woman?
Right.
So you think that there are women that aren't real women?
Yes.
Okay, like what?
A lesbian.
A lesbian's not a
Or
real woman?
transgender. Do you think men who take off the body parts and put on women body parts, you know, like breasts and all that, and put on dresses, are they women or are they still, are they women or are they still men?
Sorry, ask the question again?
You know how there are transgenders? Let me do this. Transgenders now, and they're confused about their identity. So you heard of Bruce Jenner, right? Mm-hmm. We all know Bruce is a man, but he took off the body part. Where you going?
I'm leaving.
Why are you leaving?
Because.
What?
Because what you're saying is extremely offensive and I'm not going to sit here for
What?
it.
Come and tell me why.
Nope.
You're running?
Yep.
But I thought you were open-minded. Well, she left. My guest put her tail between her legs and took off. That was Stevie Boebi. She just got up and walked out. I'm stunned because when I watch her videos, she seemed to be so free and carefree, and she allows other people to disagree. That's the impression that I have. I wonder what her YouTubers would think now.
Don't forget, preaching abstinence is just a shitty way of trying to talk kids into never having any fun. None of it is bad. Go have fun. Blood stuff is dope. Make decisions based on what you want, what feels good to you. I'll be making these videos in the future where I go in depth into each of these topics. See you guys next time. Bye.
I'm standing here on the ground. The sky above won't fall down. Seeing no evil in all directions. Resolution of happiness.
Next time on The Fallen State.
How many abortions have you performed in your career?
As many as necessary.
And how many is that?
As many as necessary. What difference does it make if it's 1,000 or 100,000? Does a woman have a right?
She has a right, and so does the unborn child.
And so when those interests are competing, whose interests
They're
are
not
important?
competing.
Are you a doctor? Are you a doctor?
Only in the ego mind
you a
of the
doctor?
selfish woman that want to kill the child.
So a
You don't
woman-
have to be a doctor to know that, man. Thanks for watching The Fallen State. We need your continued support. Donate to my nonprofit here. Subscribe and like the videos here. And tell everybody and their mama about the show.